Tell me something. When was the last time you actually looked at your father? Not glanced at him, not waved at him from across the room. Really looked at him. At his hands, at his eyes, at the lines on his face that weren't there 10 years ago. Most of us never do. We're too busy living the life he quietly bled for. This is the story of one such father, and I promise you, by the end of it, you will never look at him the same way again. Hamza was 17 years old, and he had one dream. He wanted to study in the city, engineering, the kind of future that would finally lift his family out of the small, dusty town they had always called home. His father, Nasir, worked at a hardware shop on the main street. Of machine oil and sawdust, ate whatever was on the table without complaint, and was asleep before 9. Hamza always thought his father was tired. He never thought to ask why. The engineering college sent an admission letter in April. The fees were 40,000 rupees for the first semester alone. Hamza held that letter for a long time. Then he quietly folded it and put it in his drawer. He didn't say a word to his father. He already knew what the answer would be. Hamza came home from school to find his father sitting at the kitchen table, the folded paper open in front of him, his reading glasses on. Nasir looked up. He didn't say, "We can't afford it." He didn't say, "You should have told me." He just said, "I'll take care of it." Hamza wanted to argue. He'd done the math. His father's salary barely covered rent and groceries. 40,000 was impossible. But there was something in his father's voice that stopped him. A quietness that felt less like confidence and more like a decision that had already been made. The next morning, Hamza noticed his father left the house an hour earlier than usual. He didn't think much of it. A week later, he noticed his father came home an hour later than usual, too. He still didn't think much of it. It was his mother who finally said something, one evening when Nasir had already gone to bed. She said it softly, almost to herself. "He hasn't slept more than 4 hours in 3 weeks. Hamza couldn't sleep that night. At 2 in the morning, he heard the front door. He got up, walked to the hallway, and saw his father standing in the doorway, still in his work clothes, his shoes dusty, his face carrying a kind of exhaustion that you don't get from one bad night, the kind you get from weeks of them. Nasir looked at his son standing there in the dark. For a moment, neither of them said anything. Then Hamza asked, "Baba, where are you going in the mornings? And where are you coming from at night?" His father was quiet for a long time. Then he sat down slowly on the step. He opened it. It was a receipt from the bank, a partial payment, 15,000 rupees, deposited toward his college fees. The date on the receipt was the same day his father had said, "I'll take care of it." The same day Hamza had decided not to tell him. His father hadn't waited to be asked. He hadn't made a speech about sacrifice. He hadn't sat Hamza down to say, "Son, I will do anything for you." He had simply, quietly, already started. Before Hamza had even made a decision, his father had made one for him. Hamza went to college in September. He studied harder than he had ever studied in his life, not because of the dream anymore, because of the receipt, because of the 5 o'clock mornings, because of a man who came home at midnight with flour dust on his shoes and never once complained. He graduated 4 years later at the top of his class. At the ceremony, he looked out into the crowd and found his father immediately. Nasir was sitting in a plastic chair in the 3rd row, slightly too small for him, wearing the only formal shirt he owned. He was smiling. Not the smile of a man who wanted credit. Not the smile of a man who wanted to be thanked. Just the smile of a man who had watched his son walk across a stage and quietly, privately, thought, yes, it was worth it. Every single morning, every single night. Worth it. Here is what I want you to sit with today. The people who love us most, they never announce it. They don't wake us up at 2 in the morning to tell us how much they're carrying. They don't want medals. They don't want gratitude. They just get up every morning, quietly, and do what needs to be done. Your father might be doing that right now. Your mother. Your spouse. Someone in your life who is carrying a weight you don't even know exists. So before this video ends, just pause for a moment. Think of that person. And if you can, not tomorrow, not when things are easier, today, just tell them you see them. That's all. Just let them know they're not invisible. Because sometimes the only thing heavier than the weight someone carries is carrying it while wondering if anyone even notices. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Not for us, for them. And if you'd like more stories that actually make you feel something, we'll be here. Take care of yourself and take care of the people around you.